Yes, perfect. That's perfect spot. We should be good.
It's good that I wear my hat.
You're good. Yeah, the little puffy ball was right there, but you're perfect. Wow. Yeah.
Hey guys, thanks for being here. Just wanted to let you all know that we're going to get started right on time in about 2 to 3 minutes here. There will be a time at the end for questions, so you can save any questions at the end, and we will have some introductions before that. But if you need to do any final mic checks, you can see how I sound. Is everybody good? If you need help, raise your hand. Everybody's okay? You're good, Chief? All right. Okay, great. We'll get started in just about 2 minutes here. thank you for coming. We have a very special announcement today. We're really excited that you're all here to be with us. The first thing I'd like to do is introduce Justice Wilcox to the podium.
Hi there. I'm John Wilcox. I'm an emeritus Supreme Court Justice. I served on the Wisconsin Supreme Court from 1992 until 2007 for 15 years. I might say I'm here today to endorse Judge Jennifer Dorow for running for the Supreme Court. But I wanted to just give you a little back. I don't have any written notes, but I have appeared in this court before, both in session, the last time I was here when Maria Lazar was sworn in. In any event, over 25 years ago, and I recall, I came to this courthouse. I was actually running for the Supreme Court, and I met Judge Dorow. She was the Assistant District Attorney at that time of Waukesha County. I kind of lost track of her until she got on the you know why you want to run for the Supreme Court, and that is her title. And she serves on that for another year. I think just cutting to the chase, basically, this is somebody that's very, very well qualified to serve on the Wisconsin Supreme Court. Big race. It's 72 counties. It's going to be a hard job, but I know that Jennifer is up to the task. She has unique intelligence. She is beyond any account. I think of integrity when I think of her. I think of patience. I think of a calm demeanor. I think she's somebody that I'd like to say she's a judge's judge, but I really think she's a rock star. That's what I'd say. This is a special person. I've been around a lot of judges, obviously, over my career, and you're dealing with someone very special here. So I'm going to kick it off with that. I might say that I am here to endorse her, obviously, but I want to hear from some of the others, and especially from Jennifer herself.
Be a public servant in the city of Waukesha. I work with many judges, and this case that we recently had with the Christmas parade attack, we had the best person in this courtroom, Judge Dorow, handling that case. I need you to think about something for it takes leadership, right? And leadership through action. She's demonstrated that leadership in that. To take a case from the beginning to actually conviction and sentence within 51 weeks is incredible. And with the climate that we're living in today, and we need decision makers, we need people that are leaders in order of law, especially in the Supreme Court's position. She's demonstrated that she is the best person for this position in this state, and I'm looking forward to working with her in that position. So I just want to say a few words and say thank you very much for taking on this, because it does take a leader to step up and do the right thing. It does take someone who says, you know what, I can impact this community, I can impact this state, and she not only exemplified that great leadership to this community and to the state, but also to the nation. So thank you.
All right, thank you, Chief Thompson. We have one final speaker before Judge Dorow takes the stand. We've got
the majority of her professional career, and I'd like to just share a little bit of insight into that with you. I do remember when she joined the DA's office back in 2000. She's a remarkable woman. She is somebody you remember when you meet her. She's very warm and engaging, and I remember the first days and weeks she was in the office, she fit in quite well. By that time, I was about 10 years in the DA's office, and I remember thinking, oh, it's great to have some young, fresh blood here, somebody with vigor and dedication to public safety, and she jumped right in. I do remember that. I remember working many cases along with her in the DA's office. I remember we shared a common interest in having twin sisters, and often would speak about our close relationship that we had that way. She was always very diligent in her preparation. I remember that. One thing you know about being an ADA is that there's a lot of cases and the pace is very fast and there's a lot to keep track of. She was always very diligent and relentless in her work on behalf of crime victims, for sure. Being married to a police officer, she always put public safety as her first concern, and always treated the numerous law enforcement officers that we deal with on a daily basis with the highest level of respect, as they deserved. She really cared about her cases. That's really what I took away from her time in the DA's office. From there, when she moved on and entered private practice, I continued to work with her over and over again. We had many cases together. I was an assistant DA and she was the defense attorney on many cases. We worked together. I knew her to operate at the highest level of integrity during that time. She two rotations on the criminal bench. I have worked on many committees and ad hoc committees as issues come up. Most recently, I think one of the biggest things we tackled was the whole COVID crisis, how to man the courts, keep the courts operational, keep public safety at a maximum while dealing with that crisis. And I've found her to always be an excellent partner. If you don't know her, she's someone that can definitely get things done. She's definitely the firecracker in the room, and is always willing to take on whatever is needed to be done. As a judge, I've experienced her to be absolutely dedicated to fair, reasonable outcomes. And that's really the driving force in everything she does. She has a strong desire to improve the courts and improve the system for everyone. And as I've mentioned, we've worked on numerous committees in that regard in an attempt to be more efficient and do justice to all involved in the system. She's definitely known in criminal court as a no-nonsense jurist. She doesn't take any nonsense from anybody. Yet she's very polite, she's courteous, she pays attention when the parties are speaking, or when a victim speaks or a family member speaks. She listens to them, and you could tell that she responds to them, and you could tell that she has great concern that what she's doing is the right thing to do. Most importantly, I would say she is knowledgeable of the law, she follows the law, she has great deference to well-established case law, and you always know as a litigator what you're going to get with Judge Dorow. There's very few surprises, because if you present her with the case law and it's well-established, well-reasoned precedent, she will follow it. I know Judge Wilcox described her as a judge's judge. I would say she's a lawyer's judge too. You always want to know where the strike zone is when you're the attorney presenting the case, and with Judge Dorow you did. She consistently follows the Constitution and strictly adheres to the law. She is very conservative in her approach and her interpretation. Lastly, I would just add, on a personal level, as you can imagine, having worked together over 20 years, I've got to know her and her family quite well. I know her to be a very excellent athlete, something I'm a little bit jealous of. A woman who's fiercely dedicated to her church, to her family, her community. She's a very good person to know, for lack of a better way of saying it. She has a tough job. She has many roles that she takes on in the course of a day. She's one of these people that just somehow magically seems to trust Judge Dorow. I trust her to unconditionally uphold the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of Wisconsin, and to do so every day in every case. So with that, I would like to introduce to you Judge Jennifer Dorow.
You didn't leave me a lot of room for my notes, but I'll do my best. So I think I'll just set these here and grab my... Well, first of all, thank you, DA Opper, Chief Thompson, and Justice Wilcox for those kind words. I'm very grateful you could be here today and to have your support of such respected folks in law enforcement and judicial leaders. It means the world to me. Thank you, of course, to my family and my friends who are here joining me as I announce the next step I'll be taking in my judicial career. Good afternoon, everyone. I am Judge Jennifer Dorow. As you've heard, I work here in Waukesha County. I preside over Branch 2. In 2003, the great people of the state of Wisconsin elected a conservative jurist by the name of Patience Rogensack to the Wisconsin Supreme Court. Over the course of the last 20 years, Justice Rogensack has provided consistent and reliable leadership as a jurist dedicated to the rule of law. Justice Rogensack's decision to retire leaves behind a legacy of excellence and large shoes to fill. The citizens of Wisconsin will once again be asked to decide who will of chief judges, or what we affectionately say as chief of the chiefs among the judiciary. Couple that with my years of experience as a prosecutor, I have the experience to hit the ground running on the state's highest court. I am a judicial conservative who believes it is the job of a judge to apply the law as it is written to the facts of a case, and not try and bend the Constitution and statutes to what I would like them to say. I am proud that I have spent most of my adult life working in the criminal justice system. Public safety and the rule of law are very important to me, both on a professional level and personally. After all, I am married to a cop. Over the course of the last month, I have been overwhelmed by the tremendous encouragement to run for the Supreme Court. It really is an honor, and I would not have thought about it at this time had it not been for so many people asking me to run. After my trial responsibilities settled down, I sat down with my family and close friends. After many discussions and a lot of prayer, I reached the conclusion that now is the right time for me and my family to pursue what I hope will be the next chapter of my judicial career. So today, I am excited to officially announce my candidacy for the Wisconsin to carry on the legacy of a judicial giant and someone I respect and admire, and that's Justice Patience Rogensack. At this time, I'd like to ask my husband, Brian Dorow, to join me at the podium. I have two of my kids here. If they want to join me as well. I would be remiss if I did not publicly thank him for his love, his support, his encouragement, and his never-ending energy. He is my motivation and my inspiration. And without his support, I would not be at this podium today. Thank you, dear. I love you. To my parents who are here as well, they're seated over here. I'm not sure if my mother-in-law was able to make it, but to them, I owe such a debt of gratitude for always supporting me, always showing me love and support, and for the many friends and family who are here today. And of course, to my children, I have my daughter Kiki, my son Michael, our son Jonathan is at school and he could not be here today, but they are my inspiration in so many ways, including my decision to run for the state's highest court. I want my children and all of Wisconsin's young people to live in a safe, prosperous state where the rule of law and respect of the Constitution are part of our core values. So today, I ask all of you for your support and your vote in first the primary on February 21st, and then again in the general election on April 4th. Please give me the privilege of serving the citizens of this great state of Wisconsin as Wisconsin's next Supreme Court Justice. Thank you.
Judge Dorow, Supreme Court race is typically a race where the candidates don't go into it with a lot of name recognition or very high profile. How much do you think the high profile nature of the last couple of months is going to impact your race? How much of an advantage do you think you have because of it?
Well, I hope that the people of this great state of Wisconsin, when they saw me presiding over that trial, see my credentials, see my demeanor, see exactly what they're going to get. And so I guess for me to answer that, it's they've seen me in action, and I hope that helps me both in February and in April.
Judge Dorow, thanks for your time. Low cash bail was an issue in the Brooks trial as well as the Senate and the major races. We heard a lot about it. What would you say to those who may question your record on that issue?
I have long been and long believed that the bail system in Wisconsin is broken and in need of reform. And of course, we have certainly seen that come home in my community in a very painful way. There are too many inconsistencies in the setting of bail across the state. It leads to situations where one county who might be softer on crime releases people who are then free to commit another crime, sometimes in their own community and sometimes in neighboring communities. As you know, judges like me are not allowed to consider public safety when setting bail. That is wrong and that is dangerous. There is some legislation that has been proposed, and while I don't, of course, set policy, I certainly can encourage. It's something we see as judges. It needs to change. The legislature has adopted and has put forth some legislation that aligns
space right now.
a public space, and many press conferences have been held at the courthouse.
Next question.
How do you set yourself apart from former State Justice Kelly in experience or view of the Constitution and so on?
Well, first of all, this is an open seat, right? So there are 4 people now running for the open seat. And I would say I am running to replace a judicial giant, Justice Rogensack. She's a judicial conservative, and that is what I aspire to be and what I will do on the Supreme Court.
So anything about Justice Kelly?
Again, I'm going to focus on my race, and I believe I have the background, the experience that sets me apart. 11 years on the trial bench is very considerable, and it gives me a breadth and a depth of experience, not just in criminal cases, in civil cases, in family cases, and then of course all of my background being a guardian ad litem, doing defense work, and a prosecutor. I don't think there's anyone in the field that is as well-rounded as I am with their judicial experience.
How do you think the court has handled cases brought forth seeking to overturn the results of the 2020 election?
That's not something I'm going to comment on. Obviously, anytime there's election law issues, they very well might find their way to the Wisconsin Supreme Court. My judicial ethics prohibit me from commenting or even prejudging, because every litigant that comes before a court, whether it be the circuit
and not as much of a conservative majority. What's your, I guess, message to conservatives who want a like-for-like with the Wiggins Act to stick with the conservative majority, and those who maybe want to try and have it or who sides depending on the case?
What I would say to that is, look at me as a judge who's been on the bench for 11 years. Look at me as a private practice attorney, both in the district attorney's office, then as a defense attorney, and a plethora of other types of civil litigation that I was involved in. Look at my work and how I've presented myself. And I have been a judicial conservative for my entire career. This is not something that I just drummed up because I wanted to run for office. I'm committed to the principles of the rule of law and applying our Constitution and our statutes as they are written to the facts of each individual case.
We have time for one more. Go ahead.
Judge Dorow, a lot of voters will be looking at some hot button issues that seem to be coming up that could come before the Supreme Court in the next couple of years, namely the challenge from Attorney General Hall on the abortion ban and also on the redistricting that we've seen recently. Where do you stand on those two issues?
So again, as a jurist, as a judge, I have some ethical constraints that prohibit me from commenting on any pending litigation, whether it's before me or some other court, especially now that I'm running and it may very well find its way to the Wisconsin Supreme Court. But you have my commitment to look at the law, to look at the facts, and make a principled decision based upon those things and honor the rule of law.